άλλαξε, κίνεται στο γήπεδο, πλησιάζει την περιοχή και...
Κατέβασε και εσύ το Bet On Alfa app και μην χάσεις ούτε ένα γκολ. Bet On Alfa. Ανεβήκαμε κατηγορία.
Edo! Bet you're getting sick and tired of my ugly face. Welcome to No Choftes, the second pod of the day. And again, it's revolving around our new signing, Ismael Tajouri-Shradi. I still don't know how to pronounce his name. I guess in Cyprus they're going to call him Zrandi, like the guy at Apollon. But this is an episode with a special guest about to jump on, Tom Bogert. He was our first guest when Johnny's joined Sporting Kansas, and he's going to jump on in just a few moments to tell us more about our new signing. Now, I'd like to know what you guys think about it. I don't know if you guys have had the chance to watch on YouTube or to find some more information on the player. Kalispera Pedromu. So yeah, I don't know if you guys know anything about this player, but without further ado, Tom is about to jump on. Tom, welcome, mate. How you doing? Happy New Year.
Still, Happy New Year. I'm glad that I see that I'm not too late here. You know,
you're
dead on,
mate.
Around the national team and MLS, man.
No, you're dead on, mate. It's absolutely fine. Thank you for jumping on. I know you don't have that much time, so I really appreciate you jumping on the pod. First of all, how was your Christmas, New Year, and all that good?
Everything's all good. Can't complain. It's 65 degrees now. I don't know what that translates into Celsius, but it's unseasonably warm right now. So I'm just enjoying a little good weather here in New Jersey before winter really kicks in.
This hurts my feelings. It's freezing in London. It's like 22 degrees Celsius in Cyprus, which I'm guessing is about 30, 40 in the United States. I don't know Fahrenheit. I don't know. So I don't know. I'll work on Celsius.
You and me both.
So there you go. Well, mate, look, there's been a buzz about Omonoia at the moment. We've made a new signing today, as you know this player yourself, having watched him in MLS, and I think you may have spoken to him or interviewed him in the past. I'm not sure, but this, as I said earlier today, and in the first pod I did, it's like the Randy Orton out of nowhere. No one expected it. It's a completely random signing, even for our standards. So, can you tell us about this player, his attributes, what we can expect to see from him, and then we'll go into the whole injury situation because that's the big one at the moment.
Yeah, I'll start with Tajouri-Shradi. Is really well respected around MLS circles. Legitimately, the only thing that's held him back is injuries, and unfortunately, injuries cost him almost the entirety of last season. He played for a very deep NYCFC team. So even when he wasn't injured, they rotated a lot. They had a lot of good options. So it looks like his playing time wasn't always constant. If you could just kind of look at one of his like Wikipedia or transfer market or whatever. That being said, he's a really good player. He's a goal scoring winger, a really great left foot, cuts in. He's pretty direct. He wants to go for goal. He's more of an inside forward rather than like a traditional winger. He's a player that is a lot of fun to watch, quite honestly. Like his one goal in 2022 before he didn't play again after injury was a direct free kick from pretty much the touchline, probably an overhit cross, but it still curled into the upper 90 because, again, like this player, he's got some real quality. Again, the only hesitation would be his injury history, but for whenever he's fit, the line goes when he's fit, he's good. So it's a really good signing. I thought he was going to stay in MLS, but I think it's really good, well done by Omonoia to pull it off.
Well, the thing is, I like to do a bit of research on the player. I couldn't really find much information, but looking at the cesspit that is Twitter, as I like to call it, there's a lot of positive comments about him in terms of his attitude, in terms of his ability. I know there's a few Houston Dynamo fans that wanted to see him join their club. And back to the injury, what can you tell us about it? Because I remember seeing a tweet from you saying that, I think, was it Bruce Arena said that it could have been a career-threatening injury, and then someone else came out to say it's not really as bad as it's made out to be. It could have been the training. I don't know anything about this. So, again, in Cyprus, a lot of people are very skeptical about this signing because of the injuries, because he's only played 6 minutes in God knows how many months. But for me, as an outsider looking in, he's had his rehabilitation in Germany, and I'm assuming that the time off that he's had is going to give him that that time to recuperate and to be the best version of himself.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a messy situation. Bruce Arena is a legend in American circles, and he's always been a guy who just kind of says what he wants, and that sounds usually like a loaded term, but he's somebody who's pretty direct about things and pretty honest, and he's older, so I think that he cares even less, I think, about being careful or nuanced. So when he said in a press conference that it might be a career-ending injury, I'm sure that he wasn't lying or being misled, but I can tell you that Ismael Tajouri-Shradi's camp really disagreed with that. They were like, this is his career was never in question. Yeah, like the injury is worse than we thought, but we're doing rehab away from the club. New England traded to get him, and then he didn't play a game for them because of the injury. So New England understandably weren't happy. They weren't blaming Tajouri-Shradi, but they weren't happy with the situation that they traded for a player that ended up being injured. That being said, he did part of his rehabilitation in Germany. He finished it in Miami in the United States. And as of, I think, a week ago, I was reporting that I was told full training was a go, that if he were to come to an MLS club, he'd be ready for day one of preseason, which starts within a week for most clubs. So, again, right now, all signs are good. We'll see how that lasts because again, he has had problems with injuries, various injuries in the past. So there hasn't been a full season where he's been completely healthy, I really believe, off the top of my head. But again, that specific injury, he's not about to retire. He was never considering retirement. The doctors he spoke to, at least in Germany, never kind of questioned his ability to continue his career.
Joe, I'm glad you said this because, again, a lot of people don't know what the actual injury was. People go to Transfermarkt and they see hamstring, they see ankle, they see all kinds of injuries. And again, that kind of information can be misleading. So when you hear Bruce Arena, or when you read about Bruce Arena saying, right, it could be a career-threatening injury, and you're hearing that perhaps a medical wasn't done. Is that true? A medical wasn't done when the transfer was made?
I don't know some of these specific details, and I want to be really, really careful because I know that this is something that New England had been in contact with the league about. It's a bit of a touchy subject. I will say, for whatever he was traded from LAFC, whatever the differences between New England and LAFC were, the two teams just completed another trade yesterday. So hopefully it seems like all things are resolved there. I don't think that you'd be doing more business with a team that you're kind of actively fighting. But yeah, a bit of a messy situation for all involved.
Well, this is it. And no disrespect, but the way that US law is in terms of litigation and various suing stories we hear, or defamation or whatever, if this signing was questionable and if New England were unhappy about the whole situation, surely MLS would have just turned around and said, right, we'll deal with it. But if it needs to go further, then take it to the courts. So it obviously hasn't got to that stage. So perhaps Bruce Arena was maybe angry about a situation. He decided to take it out. You don't know these things. But as I said on the podcast earlier today, a player who has had a long-term injury, and I read somewhere that whether it was his camp or someone was unhappy with the type of training that was given to the player when he came back from an injury and about the load and the volume and perhaps the intensity. And my argument was, well, perhaps a specific training session or maybe some training sessions were done too soon for this player. Maybe his rehabilitation went sideways. I don't know. Again, we're not privy to this information, so it could have been anything. But the bottom line is he's gone to Germany. He's had his rehabilitation. As you quite rightly said, he's ready for pre-season. And for us, okay, we're halfway through the season now. And, I'm guessing he won't be ready for the next 1 or 2 games. But I'm guessing maybe 3 weeks he might be ready for at least to touch field for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm not obviously it's going to take, I guess, a little bit of time. I'd imagine they'll assess him in training sessions and whatnot. But as you said, he hasn't played in a competitive or non-competitive match in a while. So I wouldn't be expecting him to be pulling 90s real quick. But again, as far as I know, full training, maybe it'll take him a little while to get some rust off or kind of really get back into match fitness. But all systems a go for as far as I heard. So I'm very curious to see when his debut will be and what he'll look like. And again, as you said, if the club will be kind of cautious and slow play.
Brilliant. Well, Tom, look, I know you're pressed for time. I've got a couple of very quick questions. One of them from our Facebook page. What is his contribution to the team except scoring goals and creating chances? leadership, going back to defend, etc.?
He's a player who strikes me as I don't want to kind of oversell and like call him a really hard worker, but he was never like a lazy winger in MLS from what I saw. He's really dynamic. His off the ball runs are very good. Again, he's pretty direct. He's good, somebody that should help open up space for the players around him. And he, again, his set piece delivery is really good. So again, I know that the question was asking for other things, but again, the main takeaway from this player is goal scoring winger, and every club in the world that plays with wingers wants goals from their wingers. So it could be a very valuable addition.
Brilliant. And one more question from me, Tom. In terms of his positional play, I've noticed a lot of the clips he's on the right wing, and he, as you mentioned earlier, he likes to bring the ball on his left foot, very Riyad Mahrez-esque, so to speak. But is this a kind of player that can play left wing? Can he play through the middle as a 10? Is he got variation to his game?
Yeah, he's very versatile. He played across the front line essentially with NYCFC. If he was to play through the middle, it'd be more like a second forward type of role, not more of like a number 10 or a traditional playmaker. So again, but he can definitely play on either wing. But if he's through the center, it has to be a particular role. Again, I don't know what Omonoia kind of their preferred formation or tactics are, but for sure he can play on left or right wing.
Brilliant. Well, Tom, look, thank you so much for your time, mate. Really appreciate it because you jumped on literally at short notice, and I can't thank you enough. And how's Johnny's getting on in Kansas?
He's been good. Okay. He was a rotation piece. He played a decent amount of minutes. The problem though is that Kansas City had a really, really bad start to the season, so they weren't at the top of minds for people on the national landscape. But he's doing well. He's I don't want this to be the bar, but there have been numerous signings of his profile, of his age, coming from, say, a different market coming to MLS that have been gone from MLS within a year. So again, not to give him congratulations for still being here, but he's still very much part of the plans at Sporting Kansas City.
Well, that's a relief. Well, Tom, thank you again for jumping on, mate. Really appreciate it, and wish you the best for this year. And hopefully you can come back on when our player is doing well, and you can say, I told you so.
Cheers, Tom. Looking forward to that. Thank you very much.
Top man, all the best. Cheers, buddy. Cheers. Take care. Ta-da. Bye-bye. There you go, boys and girls. Short and sweet. And I'm glad that Tom was able to jump on and tell us more about this player of ours. I hope he's settled your nerves a little bit. I said it earlier, just be a bit patient. It's good to hear that the player's ready for the MLS preseason, which means that he's probably got about 3 to 4 weeks before he's probably ready to play, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes or whatever. But it's looking promising, Gobelia. Like I said, I'm not going to be negative about this one. Obviously, the signing has come left field, and it's going to be a difficult one to comprehend and why it's happened. But look, Andreas says he'll be one of the most best players, or one of the best players in the league, or one of our best players anyway. The transfer sounds promising. So yeah, that's it. Well, look, as I said, it was going to be a short one. I didn't say I was going to be on for too long, but I'm glad Tom was able to come on and shed some light. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your nunna, leave a comment if you think this player is going to do well, or if he's not going to do well. If you've got any more questions, I'm happy to send them over to Tom. So yeah, that's it, boys and girls. Hade, Kalinita says, be good. Jay Milumen. Hade, Bamishlakam.